It's right here, Jack.
So on the TVs, out there, it's spinning. Is that supposed to be like it's loading? Is that supposed to be like that?
You go take care of that. I'll take care of this.
Okay, all of them are doing it. So there's something with the feed probably. Just so you know, we do have a bunch of people watching on the side. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Will you go take care of that, Colin? Yeah, I will.
Where I stand, the audio sounds pretty good. Can you hear me in the back in the entry area? No? One of those great things about a new microphone is learning the microphone discipline and how close you have to have it to your face. So welcome everyone. Thank you for being here to hear about the status of the flat fire. My name is Derek Gasparini. I'm an information officer with Oregon Department of Forestry's Complex Incident Management Team 3. Our team is in unified command with the Oregon State Fire Marshal Red Team. And thank you for your interest. We certainly know that there's some anxiety and concern about this fire being so close to Sisters, so we're glad to be here to give you some information. So thank you for joining here in person. We've got a large crowd, we've got some overflow area outside, so hopefully everyone can hear and understand what we're presenting. Welcome to those that are joining us virtually. So virtually online, you'll see and hear some of the same information. We're going to present information from several organizations, and then we've got breakout kind of areas set up outside the commons. We won't necessarily be addressing questions here in a large group, but we want to make sure that we split up and meet you outside so that we can get your individual questions addressed. For those joining virtually, please hold off on commenting on the Facebook stream until you hear the presentations. You might hear exactly the information that you're looking for, but we do want to make sure that you get your specific questions answered as well. So at some point we will drop the flat fire information email address in the chat so that you can send questions directly there. It might take us a little time to follow up on all of those, but we certainly will do our best to do so. So you'll hear basically we're gonna run through this like we do a typical briefing for fire personnel, but we want to get some specific information about how we got here, what the plan is for this point going forward. So you'll hear some background on the initial response and what happened before our incident management teams arrived. Hear from some local fire representatives. Then you'll hear an operational update of what actually is being done to suppress the fire and where things are at. We'll have some evacuation and community support updates from the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office. You'll hear from our public agency land administrators, we call them agency administrators. Then you'll hear some closing comments from our incident commanders. Then I'll just come up and give you instructions for how we'll do the breakout sessions. So with that, let's go ahead and get underway, and we'll welcome our background and initial response with Rob Pencer and Luke Garcia.
Good evening. My name is Rob Pencer, and I serve as the District Forester for the Central Oregon District, Oregon Department of Forestry. Out of Prineville. I'm local.
Good evening, everybody. Luke Garcia, Acting Fire Management Officer for the Cascade Division of Central Oregon Fire Management Service. I know that's a lot of words. What that means is I supervise the federal firefighting resources out of here, Sisters, Oregon. We cover U.S. Forest Service and BLM lands.
All I can say right now is, wow, this is impressive. This is impressive because I can tell that you care. And that's awesome to live in a community where you are vested and care about what's going on around you. Tonight, we wanted to basically get out what the fire response actually was. There's been rumors, there's been misinformation, but tonight we want to bring you to the facts. And what I think you will see is that we held nothing back.
Thank you, Rob. Perfect setup. So, like Rob said, we want to, dispel any misinformation that's out there, if there is any. and give you the factual information. What you see up on the screen there, and what I have in my hand is actually from the dispatch notes. So like I said, we cover federal lands, but in Central Oregon we're really interagency, so we have mutual aid agreements with all of our partners, including the Oregon Department of Forestry. So I'm going to run you through a quick narrative of what happened in the initial attack at the Flat Fire. 1634, any of those of you who don't speak military time, that's 4:34 in the afternoon. Hinkle Butte Lookout reported black smoke in the Geneva area. At 1636, ground and aviation resources were dispatched. 1643, initial resources arrived on scene, estimated 2.5 to 5 acres on private ODF protected lands, moderate rate of spread. 1657, additional aviation and heavy equipment, meaning dozers, were ordered. Fires and heavy fuels with increasing fire behavior. At 501 or 1701, a private drone was observed in the area. The aircraft overhead on the fire were notified, law enforcement was ordered, and the aircraft responding to the incident were instructed to hold for safety because we cannot fly when there's drones in the air. Additional ground resources were still responding at this point. At 521, the updated size from the air attack platform in the air was approximately 45 acres. At 5:30, the fire scene airspace was cleared by air attack, meaning the drone was gone or not confirmed to be sighted on scene, and they went ahead and lifted the aircraft out of Prineville. At 7:40, the total on-scene resources were 17 engines, including a mix from federal, ODF, and then as well as our mutual aid structural resources from around the entire Central Oregon area. 5 dozers, 3 water tenders, 2 hand crews, 12 single resource overhead, 3 helicopters, 7 single engine air tankers, 1 air attack platform, and 2 law enforcement officers were ordered and already on scene. Just really quick, I want to point out one quick fact. We said we would each keep our sections short, but I want to point out the fact that if you see any of these maps, you'll see the number 0863 on it. That means that is the 863rd incident or response that we've had in Central Oregon. And so from my math, if we have one fire go large like this out of 863, we're doing a pretty good job. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining.
I just want to make sure it's clear too, that when Hinkle Butte called in that smoke, the origin was found on private land and the cause is still under investigation. I also want to just go back to what Luke was talking about in this response. When we have, what we call it here locally is we call it the Central Oregon Way. And that means basically that we don't care where the fire's at. We don't care what color of land it's on, whether it's private, federal, we don't care. We send the closest forces, engines, was basically our closest people to the fire. We get them there as quickly as we possibly can. We don't care if you drive a yellow truck, a white truck, red truck, or green. It does not matter. When we have a fire in the landscape, it's all of our problem. We all come together to fix it. That is the most effective, efficient, and safe thing we can do for our firefighters and our public. Thank you.
Sorry, those guys have young eyes and they can see. Now, 2 mics, he said, so all I need is a harmonica or a guitar or something. Good to go. I'm Tony Pryor, I'm the fire chief here at Sisters-Camp Sherman. First off, our thoughts and our prayers go out to all those that have been impacted by this. We know we share in your roller coaster of emotions that everybody's went through, as some of our own personnel have went through it themselves while they're continuing to respond to this emergency. And on behalf of the 4 fire districts, Sisters, Cloverdale, Crooked River Ranch, and Lake Chinook Fire and Rescue, we thank our staff and the quick response and the continued response from all the men and women that are out on this and our community and try to help us battle this fire. It's after moving here a year ago, I realized how special this place is with the collaboration, and I know you're going to hear that, and you just heard it from the two men that were up here. It's a Central Oregon way, and it was nice to see that once I came here, everything is seamless. When a response tones out, there's action plans in place, and you respond. It doesn't matter where it's at, we all respond together, and they just said that, but I'll echo it. And it was really a breath of fresh air to come down here, and it's impressive. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of apparatus when they show up, and they were there. So on our initial response to the fire incident Thursday afternoon, I'd like to note that within 12 hours, there was a conflagration enacted from the State Fire Marshal's office. And for all of our agencies, for the structural task force that mobilized and responded up there and stayed up in there until after midnight, getting home with a couple hours sleep and right back up there first thing in the morning. And in a collaborative talks and effort, that's when we decided it was time to enact because of the potential. So again, it was a very quick response, and we knew what was going to happen when the wind picked up and the fire was going to take off. I think this is a result of many years of agencies coming together and the people over here in this room that have helped to develop the system that we refer to as a mobilization plan. And because of that, you're seeing the success really of what we have today. I was speaking with one of my board members, and he said, thank God for the temperature out there. I think it's came down, and maybe the temperature in the room has come down too. So I'd like to thank the Central Oregon Fire agencies who responded, the personnel and apparatus on the task force activation, and who continue to work today to battle this. We'd like to thank every person and agency that's here as well. You've seen many fire rigs that are from all over the state. People have talked to everybody, and it's because we have such a great plan in Oregon. And I'd like to thank everybody here that helped make that a possibility. Thank you.
Hey, good evening. My name is Matt Hona. I'm one of the operations section chiefs with Oregon Department of Forestry, IMT 3. I'm here to give you a little bit of an operational update. There was a clicker here, but we'll just point to the map as best I can. I may not be local. I work out of Northeast Oregon, but I did work here in Sisters a few years ago when I had less gray hair than I do now. So I have actually fought fire out in this area. It is a very difficult place to manage fire, and so we understand that coming in as an incident management team. We do have this fire line. We do have a line all the way around it today. The map keeps following out, so I'll just do it from memory here. You know, it has been really tough to manage this thing and get around it. The last couple days have been very, very active, as you guys know, coming in on a hot transition like that with our resources. The fire's been giving us fits during the day, spotting out. We've been able to get lines around at night. Today is the first day that it really held with what we got in last night and overnight. Today, with the moderating weather a little bit later, we were able to really capitalize on that and get pretty deep into some mop-up in some of the areas of the fire and some of the divisions up there, which you see represented by letters. Division Alpha is in a really, there's some scattered rim rock in there, really tough access, hard to get firefighters into. We do have the Alder Springs fire from earlier this year, which has kind of helped manage that side. Moving down into Gulf to the south, we focused a lot of effort on the south end of the fire as it's impacting the community here. Up to about half hour or an hour ago, we were flying buckets in Division Gulf down there on the south end of the fire. Moving around into November is where we had the slop over yesterday and some active spot fires. Those are all holding today and in really good shape. And then moving up along Division Whiskey back to the north, we're looking very, very good there. A lot of patrols on that. We've got more equipment in there and that line is holding really good. Yesterday we had a really active Division Kilo. Had a little slop over spot fire right on the far north, kind of the northwest side of the fire. We were able to get it line last night and held today, and they're doing some mop-up operations in there. And that's what I have for you.
Thank you, Matt. Steve Chapman, Oregon State Fire Marshal's Red Team. I come here from, I'm able to be on part of the team, the State Fire Marshal's team. I come from Hillsboro, Oregon. And today I'm going to give you a little bit about the structure update and the configuration that was enacted with our task forces that had come in. First I want to talk about a little bit of our mission. Our mission is to protect structures and do that. Protect people and structures, right? People are first, structures are next, and the firefighters' lives are included in that. So everything we do is within safety. And when I make comments of we, us, them, I'm talking about not just OSFM resources, I'm talking about the local resources that put their lives on the line the first night, the second night, the third night, and are continuing out there right now to do that. And have been a huge asset to us. I also talk about the RFPA, the federal agencies, the state agencies, all those agencies. So when I say them, us, we, them, that's us. That's everybody that I just talked about. That's what, we're one team, we have one mission, and our goal is to protect your houses, protect you guys, and get you out as safely as we can, and then go in and fight the fire. So with that, everybody can see that laser pointer? Can we go back to the other map? All right. That's right, that's our evac map. So as you can see, our evac levels have changed tonight, but I'm gonna let the sheriff talk about that. So I'll wait for that. Anyways, there it is. No, we'll wait. I'll just get going here. So we had, all the task forces we had, we ended up with 14 task forces and 2 strike teams come out. What I mean with the strike teams, that's the big fire engines that everybody recognizes from TV and stuff, the big fire engines. We had 2 of those strike teams come out, so there's 10 of those out there that were able to get in on the pavement and have a lot of horsepower, more people, more water, and was able to get in around some of the structures that were on the lower half of the fire down here and in here. But so the first night we got in, we had a bunch of fire coming in, and it was kind of down in here. And so our main purpose was to look out for Crooked River Ranch and the communities down in this area here. And so we were trying to stop the forward progress on that. And of course, most of you know around here, when the winds kick up, it likes to run, and it runs hot and fast. And so we tried to get out in front of it. We did what we call point protection around the structures as the fire came through. And so when it comes in, we do 2 things. We either prep and go, or we stay and hold. And because of all the good work that the community's done out here by using the defensible space and limit up those junipers and stuff like that, that was a huge help to us out there. It made our job a lot easier. So when the fire came in, we were able to stay at that structure and try and push that fire around the structure. And what I mean by push that fire around the structure, we stayed there. Once the fire came in, we'd use hoses to kind of push water, use water to push that around the structure. And then as that went by, we went to the next structure and the next structure. So we got spread super thin, but we also have to take into consideration our flank. So yeah, just because we stopped it here and pushed it around, that doesn't mean the fire's not able to kick back up and come behind us. So we had to have crews all night, all day, going back behind us and covering our flanks. Day 2, day 3, that's when it made the biggest pushes on us, and it was not just us, but it was everybody. We had firefighters up here from the wildland side that came down with their dozers and helped us start cutting lines, start making a stop as the best we could with what we had out there. And I won't talk too much, talk about the structures out there, but we had 827 homes that were in the fire area or on the edge of the fire. And I'll let them talk about what we lost. So there was a lot of saves out there that we did in just that short amount of time. So Currently, we're still out there with 14 task forces. We're working a 24-hour shift, so we've got 7 on nights and 9 on days, so we can get a lot of mop up. And currently, right now, because of the good weather, we're able to get some mop up, get in around the structures and start mopping up the best we can. 50, 100 feet in, and we're going to be out there for the next few days, several days doing that, and we're going to expand that out so we can get 100% mopped up around those structures. And we're going to be doing that for a few days until we get it done, and then we're going to hand it off to our partners. So.
Good evening, how are you? Better? Way better. That rain made me feel better. So I'm Ty Rupert, and I'm your new Deschutes County Sheriff. Thank you, sir, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm sorry we're meeting like this. I would much rather be talking, introducing myself to you without the fire. But one thing I've learned over the 20 years of serving our community is this community is incredible. And I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of our community. I've been out the last 3 days, out by the fire lines, talking to many citizens, seeing the help that each other, they're helping their neighbors, they're helping people, and you guys should be very proud of yourselves. So I want you to give yourselves a round of applause. I'm not a fireman. They're very good at their job. I want to reach out to, and there's way too many to thank, so I just want to thank a global thank you to all of the firefighters, all of the administration. It doesn't matter what you're doing if you're here to help save our community. I want to do a big shout out and thank them. They're professionals and they're very good at what they do. This experience for me, it's not about me tonight. I appreciate the applause earlier. It's about the firefighters, it's about our community. Those that know you, there's a lot of people here. When I first moved here in 1999, the first community that I lived in, Sisters. So at my heart, I have a place in Sisters, I always will. I've lived in all parts of the county, but Sisters is the first place. I want to also give a shout out. We had kind of besides being a new sheriff, this is going on my 4th week. It's a tough crowd. 4th weekend, I'm already dealing with a fire that threatened our community. So that's okay, I got big shoulders. There's a couple of gentlemen over here that I want to introduce. We had a baton handoff last Friday. So those of you that know Lieutenant Nathan Garrity, he's been our emergency manager since 2013 and he's done an incredible job. Nathan has moved over into a different position within the Sheriff's Office to fulfill the vacancy that I left. And we hired a new emergency manager. His first day was on Friday. His name is Ben Duda. Ben, come to us. So I want to shout out to our emergency management team. As a sheriff, I'm very proud of our emergency management team with the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office. Nathan put a program together that is recognized around the state. Ben is coming in, and that baton was passed out Friday, and I could not be more proud of the two of them and the girls behind the scenes, Rochelle and Ashley, that worked on this also. We're very fortunate to have people like this. They train and train and train for things like this, and they did an incredible job, and I'm very proud of them. I'm not going to get into the technical aspects. Go ahead. Like I said, I'm not a fireman, obviously, but I'm going to have Ben come out, and he's going to explain on the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office side of what the Sheriff's Office did. Also, before I forget, I want to put a big shout out to our deputies, all the first responders on the law enforcement side, and our search and rescue team that were out doing evacuation. Ben Duda.
This is a heck of a way to announce a new job. I've lived in this community for quite a while, worked in this community for quite a while, and this is a pretty amazing way to try on a new hat, and I'm just honored and proud to serve everyone here in the community. I'm saddened by this event that it happened to us, but the community here, the support we've gotten from all of our interagency partners has just been amazing, and I think it really shows what kind of spirit we have here in Sisters and how prepared we are for things when they go wrong. So thank you again very much. A little bit about the evacuation notices. If you didn't know, the sheriff in each county has ultimate responsibility for making those evacuation decisions, and he relies on interfacing with those fire officials, the operations that are going on the ground. They'll make recommendations, and the sheriff will ultimately determine which areas need to be evacuated. This fire evolved incredibly quick, as you've seen. I think we got the call early Friday morning that we should start thinking about some evacuations in Deschutes County. So we met with fire officials here in Sisters and began drawing some lines on a map. We call them management action points. So with incident, as it's evolving, reaches a certain point on the ground, we need to consider upping evacuation areas along those lines. We met at 10 o'clock in the morning, set some of those lines, and I think by the time we walked out the door, they were already the fire was hitting those first decision lines to start increasing evacuation levels into Deschutes County. And if anyone has not signed up for DeschutesAlerts.org, you should absolutely be doing that. I think there was a huge success in that program, and I think the speed of this incident really brought home to me the importance of being signed up for those alerts, because they came fast and they came very often. It's probably, I think it was almost hourly from noon on that there were updates to those evacuation areas. The entire time, Lieutenant Garrity and I were embedded with the Kaufman's Type 3 incident management team at the time and consulting with the local fire chiefs and verifying where the fire was moving to, looking at the weather forecast, considering things like time of day, how many people are in a given area, evacuation routes that might plug up. All those things go into our consideration for making those evacuation determinations. And led to that map you saw earlier today, and of course conditions change. We do have daily set meetings where we're making some of those, it's just a point at which we pause and consider those evacuation zones, but we are constantly, our job is to make sure that those evacuation zones are valid with the current fire behavior we're experiencing right now. Those evaluations are occurring constantly, all day long. And that's kind of what occurred this afternoon. The weather forecast turned in our favor, actually. I love it when the forecasters are wrong. And so we were able to be nimble and took advantage of a change in the weather there, an improving forecast, and we're going to continue to make some evaluations, but we're able to shrink some areas down. And try to get people back in their homes. That's really what we want to do. We want to get firefighters back home, get rested. We want to get our citizens back home and well rested and check on their things. There's still a lot of work to do, particularly now in those level 3 areas. Many of those homes have had fire up and around them, and we want to make sure that it's safe for folks to go home. Today was really the first day that structure fire crews, wildland crews were able to get in around the homes, begin that mop up of the deep duft, the lingering heat. There's still juniper trees that like to burn real hot in the middle. There's still some of those out there in our neighborhoods that need to be addressed before we get folks back in those areas. Those trees here and there was not the focus for the crews moving through those neighborhoods. It was house to house. some of the most active fire that I've seen in my time here. And in the heat of it, there was really three or four different heads at a time coming south. Unfortunately, there was confirmed that we lost 4 residences. And yeah, it hit really hard, it really did. I'd like to see those numbers. I've seen your local fire chiefs in tears thinking about the impacts that this fire made on our community. And they're going to recover. We're going to support them. Deschutes County has resources that we've reached out to those folks with. They've all been notified. Our evacuees have got support from Red Cross. The pet evacuation team is amazing. We've had several other stables in different areas that have offered refuge for large animals and pets and things. It's been an outpouring of support that I'm really proud of, and to say that I'm here in Deschutes County and Sisters Country. There's been several other outbuildings that were also lost. The count is currently 6, and as we move about really diving into and mopping up these areas, we may identify a few more. And those additional outbuildings are smaller things like sheds and chicken coops and pump houses and things like that. Not always caught in the initial assessments. So I would not be surprised that you might get a few numbers that trickle up, but those are where we're at right now. And look for reductions in the future, like I said, but I think it's going to be a little while before we get folks back into those evac level 3 areas. I think that's my time before I start babbling.
Thanks, Ben. Good evening, folks. I am Ian Reed. I'm your district ranger and Sisters for the Deschutes National Forest. I'm one of the agency administrators involved with hosting these incident management teams. You'll hear from 2 of our other agency administrators here shortly, but I wanted to mention some of the other agencies who aren't here, and that's the Crooked River National Grassland, Prineville Bureau of Land Management, and Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs. And so we're all in this together, along with the other 2 agency administrators who you'll hear from. I don't know if we're all clapped out, but this would be a good time if you want to clap again to show that support for all this good news we've heard so far tonight. So as you heard, this was a very challenging fire. I took my first fire behavior class 25 years ago, and we learned about the impact of fuels, weather, and topography. And that's what we saw in this fire, where they all aligned to produce some pretty extreme fire behavior in those long runs, about a 14-mile stretch from head to heel of this fire, almost all the way from Lake Billy Chinook to Sisters. So that's pretty incredible fire growth in such a short time. Those winds align with our stream canyons and our continuous fine fuels, and that's what we saw with the flat fire. So I have a mix of emotions when I stand up here tonight looking out at this crowd, and I'm not gonna lie, fatigue's one of those, but the 2 that stand out the most are empathy and pride, and you've heard that from some of our other speakers tonight. So I have a lot of empathy for the stress that this community has endured, empathy for the loss of the homes and the property, and really the sense of place that many of us are used to. That's gonna look different when you go back. I also have some empathy for the emotional burdens that are created with either the act of evacuation or just the anticipation of not knowing whether you're gonna have to evacuate or not. And many of my employees here at the Ranger District and Sisters also share that emotional burden, and this fire was truly a close call for many of us. So while there's that feeling of empathy and sadness, there's also an incredible sense of pride for the sacrifice of our men and women responders, which includes fire, medical, and law enforcement. It includes and extends to our aircraft pilots, our ground crews, heavy equipment operators, contractors, agency personnel, and volunteers, including our rangeland fire protection associations. I also wanted to recognize the support personnel outside of our operations. So it takes a village, an army, if you will, to support those operations. And so that's folks in logistics, finance, plans, safety, all information is putting this meeting on tonight for all of you. So the incident command system is truly remarkable, but it doesn't function without all those parts and pieces, those cogs in the wheel. So how about a clap for everybody else? So I'm also feeling a lot of pride just for those heroic actions that happened in the actual firefight. And I think you could probably build an anthology with some of the stories that Banduda was talking about, and Chief Pryor mentioned as well. A lot of them with our local fire districts, our local wildland agencies, but also the folks that came in quickly from out of the area. Finally, I'm feeling a sense of pride for just how we all showed up together as a community, how we've stepped up, how we've supported each other through this traumatic event, from the little things like the texts and calls and the signs that are being made out there in the commons, to folks offering larger things like to transport livestock, to offer up places of shelter, to overnight, to get food, to come in and just offer that helping hand. And that's what I think is just so incredible about Sisters and where we all live and how lucky we are. And I feel so fortunate I get to raise my family here. There was a group of community leaders that met today. I think the 50 folks showed up and produced copious amounts of notes with really that next step on community recovery and how best to support this community as those recovery actions happen. So that's pretty incredible. In closing, I'd just like to leave you that it's a true honor and a privilege to serve all of you. I'll speak for all the folks up here. I don't think anybody's in it for the money, the fame, or the notoriety, but we're here because we want to serve and we want to help. So it's our honor and our privilege. Thank you very much.
Welcome back, right? Hi everyone, my name is Rob Henzer and I serve as the District Forester for Central Oregon District, and I am the Agency Administrator for the Oregon Department of Forestry on this fire. And so, first thing I want to do is just a quick thanks to all the cooperators out there that provided service on this fire. Lower Bridge RFPA, ODF Team 3, OSFM Red Team, and the Kaufman's Local Type 3 Team. I can tell you this, I can't say those words. They did awesome on this fire. You should be so proud of what the local firefighters did around here. Most of them went anywhere from probably 30 to 48 hours without even sleep. That's how much effort and time they put into this fire. I also want to do something a little bit different tonight. Normally I would come up here and tell you all about mission and values of Oregon Department of Forestry and how we do direct aggressive initial attack and we minimize acres and we maintain healthy relationships. But tonight I want to do something a little bit different. Recently, this last year, back in July, our legislature passed House Bill 3940. And for those of you that don't know what 3940 is, but 3940, one of the aspects of that bill basically puts money in so that we can actually do fuels reduction and actually start doing some things like prescribed fire and all those kind of things across the landscape in Oregon. For once, we are finally starting to get proactive. And I can tell you for myself and my staff, we take this seriously. We're going to go after every dollar that we can because we are sick and tired of going to Geneva for fires. I personally was on Ocklawaha, Green Ridge, I can't remember them all now, there's another one in there somewhere too, and then now the Flat. But man, we've got to do something different, and I can tell you this, we are going to go get after it. So for all of you that did or have done fuels reduction work or hardened your homes, thank you. Thank you so much. It makes our jobs lives better, makes it more efficient, and more importantly, keeps us safe. Thank you all for coming tonight. It's a privilege to serve all of you.
Good evening. My name is Travis Medina, and I serve as the Chief Deputy and Agency Administrator for the Oregon Department of State Fire Marshal and representing the Red Team. It is absolutely humbling to be standing in front of this amazing community tonight. I want to give a special shout out. We had the opportunity earlier today to meet with 3 legislators that are in the room. Currently we have Senator McClain, who's here, who this fire is directly impacted his district. Senator Rodman, sitting right next to him. And Representative Lee. We all are so very fortunate to have their leadership. Rob talked about an important piece of legislation that was passed, and I just want to say thank you to these 3 legislators. They were very key in helping move the needle proactively forward. Let's give them a round. I also would strongly encourage everybody in this room for the Department of State Fire Marshal. We have a booth out in the foyer, and as we leave this building this evening and you have questions, I would please ask you to stop by and to grab some information around things like defensible space and home hardening. They're absolutely critical when we have large catastrophic fires like this. Central Oregon is well known for its response system. We know this. Your local fire agencies you've heard from, our state partners, our federal partners do an amazing job. As a community, I hope that I am a Central Oregon, recognize the work that our local partners do. It is phenomenal, it's amazing, it's unique, and it's one of a kind. At the statewide level, we mobilize to help support those efforts. As you've heard, we mobilize with a single focus and a single priority. That was to protect you, to protect your homes, to protect your businesses and your communities, and that's what we do. We recognize and sympathize the significant gravity and magnitude of the flat fire and what that's meant individually to each and every one of you. You've been directly impacted by a large wildfire. Those impacts include 4,400 homes that are in some level of evacuation. I've been in the wildfire business for 32 years. That is a significant number of homes that are in an evacuation level. We've heard we lost a handful of structures. We've heard powers out. We've heard impacts from smoke. Those have all affected the community and had an impact from this fire. There are some success stories as we think about it. Number 1, 827 homes were saved as a result of the firefighters of the You've heard a couple things tonight, and they're important things. You've heard that evacuation levels are slowly dropping. You heard that Mother Nature gave us a gift. Gotta love Mother Nature. Brought in a little bit of rain, cooled the temps, relative humidity came up. The incident, for the first time in the last 3 days, is really beginning to stabilize. And as a fire manager that's traveled all around this state, the word stabilization is music to my ears, and we're beginning to stabilize this incident. That said, we remain committed, steadfast and strong, committed to stay here, to support your community. The State Fire Marshal's Office, Chief Rose Temple, who leads us, is in the room tonight, and her commitment and my commitment to this community is we will stay here and we will be here as long as we need to protect your homes. I always like to reflect and provide some observations. And so I came up with just 3 different thoughts that I've seen over the last few days and that I've seen over my career, much of it in Central Oregon. First off, to the homeowners and the community that has done work around your homes with defensible space, home hardening, fuels management, access for large fire trucks. We have really large fire trucks. To protect your house, they need to get up the driveways. And lastly, heeding the evacuation warnings, leaving when we say go. This makes a huge difference for the first responders that are coming into your home to save your property. I can't encourage this community enough to keep up the amazing work. You're a leading community in the nation. Stay fast, stay strong on that excellent work. Resiliency and community support makes me proud to be a Central Oregonian. I've been around the communities and what we bring collectively as Central Oregonians to take care of each other, to help each other, especially when there's time of need, help support our firefighters. I can't thank you enough for the thoughts, the prayers, and all your support over this last couple days. And we know that we're a resilient and strong community that will last way longer than all of the firefighters that will be here. We continue to look forward to work with you and to make us a more resilient community. On a personal note, I want to thank again this community. I don't know how many text messages, mail messages that say, please share with the firefighters our thanks. Children making signs for us as we came in. It's phenomenal. Hanging signs up. That support is felt by every single firefighter that's out on the line. And I can't thank you enough as a community for that support. Lastly, I have to offer thanks right now. There are 1,200 women and men that are standing between this community and the flat fire. They have stood there tirelessly, sweated, bled, poured their hearts and souls into protecting our communities. And I think as a Central Oregonian and as a community, we cannot thank those women and men enough for what they do, risking their lives for us. So,
Good evening, folks. My name is Tyler McCarty. I serve as the Unified Incident Commander for the Oregon Department of Forestry's Incident Management Team 3. I'm going to start off by saying I've been doing this for 25 years, not quite as long as Travis. But that standing ovation, that first one that you did, was one of the most impressive things I've seen in my career. And it's pretty tough to make 2 incident commanders well up and almost tear up, and you guys did that tonight. Unified Incident Command, what does that mean? It means you have 2 incident management teams that are fighting this fire together. My team, we focus on perimeter control and putting the fire out. Ian's team focuses on protecting the structures. However, when we're in situations like we were on this fire, we work together and we move resources back and forth to make sure we're protecting your communities. If you look at that map, underneath basically the dark red area, there's 67 miles of fire perimeter on this fire. And as you heard from Ops earlier, there's some sort of line around the entire perimeter, which is an impressive feat to get done in just 4 days. There was a lot of good work that got done prior to our arrival. My team's been here for about 2.5 days, and a lot of the credit goes to all of the local folks that put in all that work prior to us getting here. That's how we were able to get a line around it so quickly. So I'm going to read out a few more stats for you. In the last 4 days, between the local efforts and this team's efforts and Ian's team's efforts, We've delivered 82 loads of retardant for a total of 425 gallons delivered to the fire. We've delivered roughly 750,000 gallons of water via helicopter. Currently, and this is just on the wildland side, we have 39 20-person hand crews, 28 engines, 25 water tenders, 22 bulldozers, and 18 skidgens, totaling just on the wildland side, 1,109 personnel out there fighting to get this fire out as quickly as they can. They're working their tails off out there for you folks. It's an honor to be able to stand up here and represent all the wildland firefighters that are out there busting their butts on your behalf, but also on behalf of all the wildland firefighters. I truly want to thank you guys for all the support that you've shown them while we've been here. It is truly an honor to represent those folks. Thank you.
I'm the last one. They applauded for the last one. Good evening, everybody. My name is Ian Yoakum, and I proudly represent the State Fire Marshal's Office and the structural resources and firefighters that come from across all 36 counties across this state. You should be proud to live in a great state like Oregon. I just want to also, lots of thanks, but they're deserved. Just to thank Central Oregon locally, our state partners, our federal partners, from the initial response to where we are today. We had a heck of a firefight. 14.7 miles from the heel to the head. Our wildland structural firefighters worked multiple shifts, protecting homes and properties, and this has been a 24-hour operation. We have normalized our crews to a full day and night shift, and we have all the resources that we need. As stated, we have lost 4 homes, but I want to focus on those 827 homes that were protected by our firefighters. Even the homes that were lost, those firefighters stayed into the last second of where it became unsafe for them to continue to fight that fire. Their dedication, their work is impressive. We still remain in a firefight. This isn't over just because of one day of some good weather. We have critical fire weather coming this week, and we still have a lot of work to do around this fire. So we will continue to be here to protect your homes and to mop up and make sure that we don't lose any homes and that we get this fire out. We still remain in evac levels, and that's a very deliberate and organized process with both Jefferson and Deschutes County. We meet multiple times throughout the day with our ops staff, our sheriff's office, and we don't take that lightly when we put you into an evacuation. The red team was here during Alder Springs in June, and Jefferson County was impacted. Crooked River's been impacted multiple times this summer, and that's not lost on us. As stated, the State Fire Marshal's Office, the Oregon Mutual Aid System, we come from across 36 counties in this great state. And I'm going to take a moment just to read off those counties that came to serve Deschutes and Jefferson County, because I think those counties deserve that. Task Force 42 from Lane County. Task Force 43 from Marion County. Task Force 44 from Washington County. Task Force 45 from Yamhill County. Task Force 46 from Polk County. Task Force 48 from Clatsop County. 49, Lincoln County. 50, Multnomah County. 51, Lynn County. 52, Rogue Valley. 53, Marion County. 54, Klamath County. 55, Lane County. Task Force 56, Central Oregon. Our strike teams, they came from Central Oregon and Marion County. That's a total of 266 structural firefighters, both volunteer and career, that come together to protect your homes. Tyler wasn't wrong. I'm one of those people that truly believes in public service. What does it mean to be a public servant? It means to serve people. And one of the best things that I have to report today is that we had no loss of life on this fire, and we have not had one firefighter injury. It's already been hit on. Our firefighters were successful out there because this community has embraced the conversation and the work that it takes to create defensible space. You're a fire-wise community. You need to continue to work together as a community to learn from these disasters, from these incidents. Continue to take care of your property, your access into your homes so that our crews and our first responders can get to you if we need to. Continue to share the message of how important it is to create defensible space and home hardening your homes. Clearly, this is a special community. Continue to be good neighbors, and that's my cue. Thank you, Deschutes County and Jefferson County. Thank you.
Well, Incident Commander Yoakum is last, but certainly not least. I'm least. So thank you for joining us tonight. With such a large crowd, we certainly can't address individual questions in such a large group. If you've seen these folks here, they will be out at stations outside in the commons area to address specific questions about neighborhoods, communities, or any other questions you might have. So we'll be here for a while to be able to address those questions. For those joining virtually and for any of you here, we've recorded this community meeting and it will be made available on the Incidents Facebook page. So if there's a piece that you missed or a piece that you want to rewatch, it will be out there. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here.